Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings in studio on the hard choices City Council faces when deciding who gets a pay raise. Justin Nelson, the Democrat running for Attorney General, wants to respond after our recent interview with Ken Paxton. Beto following Ted Cruz on TV. We'll talk about who those ads are aimed at. And Ross, Bud, and Bernadine put the headlines in perspective on the roundtable this morning.
Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley starts now.
Good morning. Lots of turnover at Dallas City Hall lately. The city attorney resigned last week. The mayor pro tem pleaded guilty to federal corruption charges. But first, we're going to focus on pay for police and firefighters. Tax cuts, a tax rate cut rather, and how your money is being spent at City Hall. Our first guest this morning is Mayor Mike Rawlings, and joining the questioning, as always, is Bud Kennedy of the Star-Telegram. Mayor, good to see you.
Good morning.
Let's start with the police and fire. Dallas remains down specifically for police. Dallas remains down 800 police officers. The budget doesn't increase the number of police officers. Why not?
Well, we have got, we're hiring at the rate we want to. The attrition, because of the pension situation that we had last year, is creating that bigger hole. It's something I'm not happy with. We've talked about it at City Council, and we've got to make sure that we're going to be able to hire faster than the other guys are hiring. We're going to need to raise the salaries of those entry-level positions, I believe. And
the salaries still remain substantially below Houston, Arlington, Fort Worth, Mesquite.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them substantially. Okay,
but several $1,000s. If I'm a new recruit looking to go somewhere, why would I go to Dallas?
Well, I'll tell you, Dallas is a great police force. It's got a great program long term, and we're going to fix that. I believe that we've got a lot to offer those folks.
I want to ask you about more than half the budget is dependent on property taxes. There was a 10% growth, almost 10% growth in property value year over year. They're expected to increase again next year, according to what the staff is saying. That's unsustainable, many people say. Are you concerned at all that this might be opening up a hole for the city of Dallas when these property values go the other way?
Oh, I'm very concerned. I think it is unsustainable. Look, this is a key time of the year because we decide how to spend taxpayers' money. It's a $3.6 billion budget. Your tax bill on average will go up 8% if we pass this. It's got a huge pay raise for our police officers in there, 10% for everybody except for the very top. Try to make us more competitive. Homeless issues, really resources for underserved parts of town. So it's a good budget, and I'm concerned at 8%. But what I'm concerned, many in the council say that's not enough. They've got this addiction. If the money's there, they need to grab it. They'd like it to be 11%. And I'm going to tell you, that's bad for a lot of reasons, especially for poor people, to keep them in their homes. We can't keep this going. I don't know why we believe we've got to just suck the taxpayers dry. So Wednesday, you're going to see who are the fiscal conservatives, who are going to be the spendthrifts.
And Wednesday's the first vote.
It is. And it determines that we can't go any higher than that. And there are some folks who say, no, it's got to be higher. The money's there. Let's go get it.
Mayor, you said yourself the problem is the attrition rate of the police. The police come, they're trained, then they leave. Hundreds now, I believe, have come to Fort Worth. I know more than 100 Dallas officers have come to Fort Worth. Why do you think they leave?
I think there is an issue with that pension fund. They came to Dallas understanding they were going to have a brass ring. They look at it and it's not as rich as it was. And so we've got to make sure that we take that money that we're talking about, these pay raises, in this budget and try to get them up to the next level. But also there's a degree of change. Whenever you change a chief, we've been through some tough times. We're going to build that morale back up. And I think we're getting there. We got a great force, and I'm so proud of them. Look, crime is at an all-time low. It's safer to live in the city of Dallas than it ever has been before.
There is a hiring problem all over for police trying to get young recruits. Are the requirements too tough? Are the city's requirements too tough, marijuana convictions, things that are in somebody's past?
You know, I'm going to let the chief make that decision, but I will tell you, we've got to change the way we approach this for police officers in the United States. It is so hard for those police officers to be perfect, and the standards we have for them, and then providing social work, and making sure the dogs are taken care of, all these issues. And I believe that a new day of policing is going to be going, and I think a new type of recruit is going to be asked for.
The budget proposes $2.3 million for addressing homelessness. What tangible solutions are in there, though? There's a lot of initiatives and things like that, but what tangible will citizens see? Well, we need 1,000 beds, okay, for people that that sleep out in the streets. That money is going to go to rent and to places where we can get it, and to match with private money to build permanent supportive housing units. That's the biggest issue. The answer for homelessness is a home, and we've got to do all that with it while we're keeping the budget at a maintainable level, because, as you said, it is not sustainable. This thing is going to crash, and everybody's going to say, oh my goodness, what are we going to have to do? And we have to cut all these services. So when at good times, that's when you're tough, and you make the tough calls so you can get through the bad times. I want to ask you about the city attorney who put his resignation in last week. He's leaving at the end of the month. His resignation letter looked like a campaign flyer. Talk about all the good stuff he's done and all the stuff that he's going to, or the city needs done as well. If he runs for mayor, would you support him? Look, I am not going to support anybody yet. I need to kind of see everybody that's out there. Larry's a great guy. He and I work closely on some of the tough issues, and I'll let him speak to his campaign aspiration. But it seems like everybody, even the council, this whole budget issue, the folks that are wanting that more money are all running for mayor, okay? So everybody wants to be Santa Claus, because for some reason they want to be mayor. I don't know why. Are you going to get involved at all in any of the races? Are you going to support someone? The mayoral race? Yeah. I want to see who's running, and then I'll make that decision probably after the first of the year in the spring. We've got good people in Dallas. The city's doing well. We'll see who's running. And your term's almost up, and I ask you every time you're in here, though, will we see you on another ballot? I doubt it. You know, my job is to be a public servant for the citizens of Dallas. This has been a great honor. You don't have higher aspirations? I don't think politicians should have higher aspirations. I think that's what gets them in trouble. I think the citizens should come to them and say, we want you to serve. All right. Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings, always good to see you. Thank you. If you haven't seen them yet, get ready for political ads on TV here. 78 days away from the November election this morning. Beto O'Rourke is following Ted Cruz on TV. Expect competing commercials as both men are in what polls show could be a tight race. Ross Ramsey is in Austin for us, the co-founder and executive editor of the Texas Tribune. Good morning, Ross.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well. You know, Cruz is already on the attack. O'Rourke's ads are positive. Can Beto sustain that strategy, though, in such a close race?
You know, I think at some point he's going to have to answer. You know, as we've talked about before, they're both racing to introduce O'Rourke to voters. Cruz in a negative way, O'Rourke in a positive way. And eventually we're going to get down to, you know, if you vote for this guy, you get this. If you vote for that guy, you get that. And that's going to be comparative, even if it's not negative.
And neither are likely to let up off the TV ads for a while with a close race, I guess, right?
No, I think we're going to see, you know, millions and millions of dollars of TV, and they're going to make us want the mattress ads all back.
Hey, I want to talk to you about an interesting set of stories that you guys have done at the Texas Tribune. A disgusting problem in some state office buildings. Rats, mold infesting some of these office buildings. Has there been any political reaction? Has anybody said we got to clean this up?
You know, there hadn't been a lot of political reaction. It's very interesting. You know, it's state employees, and they're not the most sympathetic characters, but they've got buildings that have rats in them, that have mice, worms, all kinds of stuff. And in one building at the Health and Human Services Commission, the Department of Health and Human Services, they had mold in the building, and they had to clear 127 employees out and move them to other places.
That's incredible, Ross. Stay on that story with you guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you in just a moment. Mayor Rawlings suggested last week that one reason former Mayor Pro Tem Dwayne Caraway took bribes was because he grew up in a less fortunate part of the city. That statement sparked this morning's My Voice, My Opinion. Here's Sydney Walker from Coffee and Politics 101.
Mayor Mike Rawlings has come under fire for his comments about lesser means public servants being tempted by money. I think that being on the take is much like dating a sugar daddy. When you see an opportunity to solve financial issues you have or a gain to make, many will go with the opportunity. Someone who has the financial stability to provide for themselves may not be as tempted by a sugar daddy because what can this do for them? Not to generalize, but when she has her own house, jewelry, shoes, cars, and money in the bank, you have to provide more. Not that poor is more or less susceptible to being on the take. The dollar amounts and way of providing will be different. Rich or poor, the opportunities are still there. This is the game of politics. I am Sydney Walker, and this is my voice, my opinion.
When we return, Justin Nelson, the Democrat challenging Ken Paxton, wants to respond after our interview recently with the Attorney General. And a big question this November, is it becoming more likely now that Democrats might defeat Ted Cruz and Pete Sessions? Two takes this morning in Flashpoint when Inside Texas Politics returns.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Appleby Sanders said she had a very bad day. She had to go out there and back the boss up today. She said calling Omarosa a dog had nothing to do with race. In fact, the president's very fond of dogs. In fact, look at how comfortable he is with this one. He's almost touching. They go to the same groomer, so here's another. Now
Is home improvement shopping cleaning you out? You won't feel that way at Seconds and Surplus. With discounts of up to 50 to 90% on the latest home improvements, you can hold on to more of your money.
There's a lot of Volkswagen in every Volkswagen. During Volkswagen Smile and Drive Days, you can lease a value-packed 2019 Jetta S for just $179 a month.
I didn't put all the flavor of Popeye's chicken into a boneless wing so you could just chill out. This is a boneless wing bash. And with all this for just $5, my $5 boneless wing bash makes a really great party.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Our 81st anniversary celebration includes a fun first for better sleep. Take 18% off the already low mark price on qualifying CertaPerfect Sleeper, Beautyrest Platinum and Hybrid, and Ceiling Response with Posturepedic Technology mattresses. This CertaPerfect Sleeper Queen mattress is just $598. That's $701 off suggested retail, and we'll deliver it for free. Use 75-month financing on qualifying mattresses with no down payment. Shop the selection and get first-time ever anniversary savings on mattresses at Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Welcome to Quick Trip.
Need a dog sitter?
Need a hand?
Need your wallet?
Need some help? Need a slice?
Need some roller therapy?
Need an extra large?
Woo! Need me to get that spider out of your car?
I'm not going in there.
Yeah, that actually happened.
If you need it, we have it. QT, more than a gas station.
At iSchool Virtual Academy of Texas, we are a safe and healthy alternative to traditional education. We offer an online program to meet our students' academic goals, and our schedule is flexible to address our students' needs. Call or visit our website to learn more about iSchool Virtual Academy of Texas.
Denali, a badge of honor for the relentless, who never tire of striving for the best. This is your invitation to upgrade. The GMC Denali Invitation, going on now. Visit your GMC dealer today. Get these offers on select 2018 GMC Denali models, or get over $9,300 total value on this Sierra 1500 Denali. We are professional grade GMC.
Does home improvement shopping feel like flushing your money down the toilet? You won't feel that way at Seconds and Surplus. With discounts of up to 50 to 90% on the latest home improvements, you can hold on to more of your money.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton appeared on this program a few weeks ago. This morning, his Democratic opponent saw that interview and wanted to respond himself. He sat down with my colleague, David Schechter.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I wanted to ask first, we've heard traditionally, even the governor, when he was the AG, said, my job is go in and sue the federal government. And less so now that we have Republicans aligned in Texas and in D.C. But what is the job of the Attorney General for the state of Texas?
The job of the Texas Attorney General is to protect the people of Texas, all the people of Texas, regardless of party. What I want to do.
How so? Like from a consumer aspect, or what? From what position?
From a consumer aspect, from a check on power aspect. My job is to try to protect everybody. And I think it's a fundamental misconception of the office to see it as a partisan office. Why I'm running is to take the politics out of the law, to try to do it so that everybody thinks that they have a fair and open opportunity to compete and that justice is for all.
So recently, AG Paxton was meeting with President Trump about justice reform, Where do you stand on your role or the role of the AG, should you be it, on reforming the justice system? It really isn't. It really is a civil job. It's not a criminal job.
Yeah, well, Attorney General Paxton met with Donald Trump recently, and how absurd is that? You have someone who's criminally indicted meeting with President Trump to discuss criminal reform. I do think there's a role for the Texas Attorney General to discuss, to discuss criminal reform. I think that you have some bills in the state Senate right now. John Whitmire's bill passed. I think we've got to work on bail reform. I think we've got to make sure that we are keeping violent offenders locked up and making sure also that you're not in jail solely because you can't pay a fine.
You spent a lot of time talking about Paxton's legal issues and as a way of defining you differently than your opponent. Why does that matter? I mean, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, obviously.
Well, of course, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, but we should also recognize that he's been indicted by a grand jury in Collin County, one of the most heavily Republican counties in the state, for defrauding his friends, his clients, his fellow Republican lawmakers. And I believe that Texans deserve better. He has been indicted for theft, really, for fraud. He's been investigated for bribery, he's been caught on video stealing a $1,000 pen from courthouse security. We need someone who's going to fight for all Texans. And it's not just that I'm anti-Ken Paxton. I believe that we need to have an agenda as someone who is not going to focus on the politics, who is going to be there to fight corruption, to try to end gerrymandering, to fight for everybody, regardless of party, to try to work for health care.
Yeah, your gerrymandering issue is interesting.
Yeah.
And we don't have a ton of time, but tell us about what you did in Austin to show what gerrymandering looks like.
Well, we're doing it across the state. In Austin, we went to 3 different bars in 3 different congressional districts in 3 blocks. It's amazing. And what it does, gerrymandering is an issue that cuts across party lines. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger, John McCain, James Baker talking about how gerrymandering really polarizes this country. And we should come back to have fair and level playing fields for everybody. It's what we teach our children, to have fairness and equity, and that's what we should deserve in our politics, because voters should be able to pick their politicians and not the other way around.
I think 20 seconds. Do you support DACA?
I believe, yes, I support protection for dreamers. I think it's totally wrong what Ken Paxton is doing to use taxpayer resources to try to end protections for dreamers.
My last question I'm going to go over, but do you support dismantling of Obamacare, which is something that he's been working on?
Again, I think it's totally wrong to dismantle Obamacare. I would withdraw Texas from both the lawsuit to end pre-existing conditions for health care protections and the lawsuit to end protections for dreamers on my first day of office. That's a big difference.
Thank you for joining us. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's Justin Nelson, the Democrat running for Texas Attorney General. Now to 2 other big races we are watching, Cruz and Beto, plus Pete Sessions and Colin Allred. Is it becoming more likely now that Democrats might defeat those Republican incumbents? 2 takes this morning on Flashpoint. From the right, Mark Davis of 660 AM The Answer, and from the left, Rich Hancock from virtualnewscenter.com.
Good Sunday morning, everybody. My buddy Rich and I are here, and we are anticipating, as we know all of you are, the 2018 midterm elections. And here in Texas, it's kind of interesting because Ted Cruz faces a big challenge from Beto O'Rourke. In a particular congressional district, there's a Pete Sessions with an interesting challenge from Colin Allred. I think if my side is caught napping, I don't think either of these guys are going to lose, but they could be close, so that could energize your side in a big way. But I want to ask you, will Colin Allred in 32 and Beto in his ads against Ted Cruz be spending a lot of advertising time telling a red state stuff they really believe in, like government-run health care and citizenship for illegal immigrants? Well, I mean, they're already talking about the things they believe in, which are health care for all Americans, which is on Beto's website. It's on Colin's website. They're talking about affordable health, affordable education, affordable college education, which is not exactly Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez free education. Close enough. Well, it is close enough, but that's the thing. Democrats have to run as Democrats, and I think finally in Texas, some Democrats are deciding trying to be a little more Republican to siphon off Republican votes isn't going to work. Getting people out who have not voted is what's going to work for Pete Sessions and Colin Allred. I feel Rich's, not feel his pain, but I resonate completely, because from the Republican side is like, stop trying to be part Democrat. Be what you are. Isn't the conundrum, though, that it ain't Massachusetts, it ain't Maryland, it ain't California, it's Texas, where Democrats going out there and going full-on Democrat is going to lose. You say Texas is Texas, and I say Texas is changing. Texas has been changing demographically and ideologically and philosophically for many, many years. People coming from all over the country, like myself, 20 years a Texan now, coming from Massachusetts, they're coming from all over the country for Amazon, for big companies, for Toyota, and the fact is that that's changing the face of Texas politics. From the right, Mark Davis, 660 AM, The Answer. And from the left, I'm Rich Hancock, Virtual News Center.
It's one of the most bizarre stories of this election cycle. What happened to that pistol that former Sheriff Lupe Valdez used before she started running for governor? That's one of our topics next on Reporters Roundtable.
It's the Labor Day sale at Mattress Firm, and Brecken and Maryland can tell you this is the time to get more bed for your buck. So now, like Brecken, you too can get a free adjustable base up to a $699 value free with your qualifying mattress purchase. Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event, and now is the best time to buy.
You ready for this, Junior?
Yeah, I think I can handle it.
No pressure. That's just my favorite boat.
Boom. Make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. During the Ford Summer Sales Event, find great offers across a huge lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Now on the 2018 F-150, get 0% financing for 66 months plus $3,250 cash back at your Best in Texas Ford dealer.
Hail forms when updrafts carry water droplets above the freezing line and back down to melt. This process repeats itself until the hailstone becomes too heavy and falls to earth.
The more you know about the weather, the better. WFAA Weather Minds, sponsored by TXU Energy.
TXU Energy Free Nights and Solar Days is back. With 100% solar power during the day, no panels required, and 100% free electricity at night. Free nights and solar days, exclusively from TXU Energy.
For top quality floors at rock bottom prices, come to Floor & Decor.
You're getting an incredible product for an amazing price, and that's hard to beat.
Hardwoods, laminates, tile, or stone.
Holy smokes, this place is huge. I'm on a budget, and I was able to go to Floor & Decor and save a lot of money.
You will be blown away by this experience.
The pros come here, I come here.
If you love your wallet and you love your home, you have to go to Floor & Decor.
Floor & Decor. You have to see it to believe it.
Next up, another shopper who didn't overpay for designer glasses, and all because she went to America's Best. Allison is sporting 7 For All Mankind designer frames, which she just picked up alongside some striking Sofia Vergara's. She got both pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for just $69.95. Work it, girl. Okay, work it a little less maybe. It's not just a better deal, it's America's Best. Celebrating 40 years of providing affordable eye care. Hurry, sale ends soon.
This is where we prove German luxury cars are the best in the world.
Infiniti QX60.
This is not German. Sliding second row. Why? Magic lift gate. Not for the track. This is unacceptable. Does it come in blue?
During the Start Your Own Legacy sales event, lease the Infiniti QX60 for $409 a month. Visit your local Infiniti retailer.
It's the Labor Day sale at Mattress Firm. Our customers like Janine know it's one of the best times to buy. We've dropped the price of a king to a queen and a queen to a twin. Save up to $600. Hurry in. Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
This is Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley on WFAA.
It is time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Ross and Bud are back with us, and so is Bernadine Steptoe, Channel 8's political producer. Ross, will start with you, though, and the new school ratings that are out. They aren't that different from the old ratings.
No, they look kind of the same. You know, they've got A through F grades on these guys that the legislature wanted to put on the school districts. The school districts are pretty stirred up about it. They say the grading system is not fair, that it's not a fair look at how the schools are doing, and that it conflates a lot of issues that shouldn't be conflated, like standardized testing and those kinds of things. But for all of that, the ratings don't look as bad as some of them feared.
And in Fort Worth and Arlington, though, Bud, there was a little surprise.
Well, they got C's. You know, Lake Worth got a D, which is a suburban Fort Worth district. You know, but people have always looked at the ratings and said, you know, needs improvement or unsatisfactory. People always kind of mentally assign B, C, D grades. This just makes it official. What districts did say was that elementary schools are poorly judged by this, that there's only really one way elementary schools are rated. I think those are the ones you need to pay the most attention to.
Bernadine, does the legislature address this next session at all?
Well, perhaps, but I want to go back to the grading, because one surprise was DISD. I know that there has been talk that there is improvement, but it came out with a B. And I think that the grading with the parents, once they see an A through F, they know immediately how their school is doing. And I'm not saying that it completely reflects their local schools, but I think the ISD, Dallas ISD, which has been viewed as not a good district, is showing that it is improving.
And
so Dallas ought to like the grades.
Yeah, Dallas got a B. Indeed, it has done some tremendous work. Ross, you wrote in your analysis, though, that this is a way for lawmakers to outsource blame.
They get away with blaming the school districts for everything that's bad, and they take credit for everything that's good. You know, the education policy in Texas starts at the top, and, you know, I was pointing out that you get to grade the legislators when you come up to vote, just a couple of months.
Let's shift off, Bud, to that bizarre story, the 9mm pistol that Sheriff Lupe Valdez, former sheriff, had in her possession. We don't know really if she turned it in to the Dallas County Sheriff's Department before she ran for governor. Anyways, this 9mm is missing right now. How does this impact the race?
Well, you know, Jason, she was here on the show after she announced it. She said that she had her gun and would continue to carry it. You know, the gun was missing when she left office on December 31st. You know, she had one job in this campaign, that was to rally voters and not embarrass Beto O'Rourke. She's not doing that job very well.
What do you think about this one, Bernadine?
She just cannot win. Now she has a gun that's missing, and she is running on gun control, better how gun owners should protect even their families from guns, and she can't even find hers.
Ross, final word.
You know, any candidate that's not talking about why they're a better option than their opponent is in a bad spot, and this puts her in a bad spot. She's not talking about the things that she wants to be talking about.
Does Governor Abbott make this an issue at all? Does he bring it up in an ad or anything?
I don't know if he has to.
You know, I don't think so far he needs to. I think, you know, this is just rolling without his help at the moment. He might, you know, he might float it back up if it dies, but we'll see how it goes.
Some things are just better left alone.
Interesting. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it, and thank you for watching as well. ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos begins in just a moment. We'll see you again next Sunday. Hope you have a good week.